In LA this week.
It is like winning the lottery. More than 50 lucky tenants selected to live in these new apartments, much needed affordable housing in the Westlake district. I'm Gil Reyes with the story next.
River recreation zones. The summer fun has arrived here at the LA River. I'm Anna Marcos. Find out what it means for your summer recreation coming up.
This is delicious. I'm Rasha Goel. Up next, why people all across Los Angeles are coming to this restaurant for a special menu.
Hello and welcome to LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. I'm Yana Kay. Present-day immigration fears bring back haunting memories for many Chinese Americans as they mark the 135th anniversary of the Chinese Exclusion Act. Anna Marcos has more on how it impacted entire generations and how the city is honoring their struggles.
It was a time in history when hate, fear, and racism by American citizens led the government to ban an entire race of people from the U.S. The Chinese Exclusion Act became law in 1882 and stayed on the books for 61 years. For many present-day Chinese Americans, it is still an emotional issue.
It's important to me because my grandfather was a victim of the Chinese Exclusion Act. He was not able to see his family. He was frozen here because of the racist immigration laws.
My grandfather was separated from his wife and my father for 16 years because of the Exclusion Act. They just endured it, but I didn't know how much it affected me until later.
Now the LA City Council, led by Councilmember David Ryu, has made May 6th, the 135th anniversary of the Chinese Exclusion Act, a day of inclusion. It aims to denounce the former law and honor the struggles of all immigrants.
And yes, I am not Chinese American, I am Korean American, but this is not a Chinese American issue. This is not an Asian American issue. It's an immigrant issue and an American issue. So especially these days with all this anti-immigrant rhetoric, we have to remember that it's history repeating itself.
Not only were Chinese immigrants banned from entering the country, but often Chinese American citizens had trouble getting back in if they left, even though they had a legal right to be here.
So many laws against them from traveling, from voting, from owning land, from being business owners.
All Chinese exclusion laws were finally repealed in 1943. City leaders and Chinese Americans hope that the certificate and the Day of Inclusion serve as a lesson and reminder so that history does not repeat itself. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
It was then President Chester Arthur who signed the Chinese Exclusion Act into law. Well, fears of deportation are also on the rise among LA's Korean community, and so are scams playing on those fears. But now the Korean American community is taking steps to arm themselves with knowledge. Anna Marcos explains.
They come to this church from all corners of Koreatown, and like many immigrants these days, they fear for their status in this country and what will happen to them. They ask questions in Korean and English.
Would there be an issue traveling to Korea coming back? Only person who has a power to take away the legal permanent residence status is the judge. It's not the ICE or custom or anybody else.
So I know there's been a lot of uncertainty and a lot of worry with the new administration.
Whether we were in Boyle Heights, Eagle Rock, or here in Koreatown, we all shared the same concerns.
This panel, headed by city and community leaders, along with the Korean American Coalition, aims to calm those concerns. Another big fear for people here, police, and whether they have a role in detaining immigrants.
We're committed to fair and impartial policing, and that our goal is never to focus or target on anyone whose immigration status is in question. We've never operated like that as a police department.
LAPD officers, for their part, say they have more pressing concerns than deporting immigrants.
We want to make sure that all people come forward, especially when it comes to reporting crimes. They might be reluctant to report serious crimes to us because they might feel that they'll be targeted for deportation, but Nobody would be deported for reporting a crime.
One crime on the rise now is the scamming of immigrants by those claiming they can resolve their immigration problems.
If you are victimized by someone who is purportedly helping you with immigration stuff, but in fact is taking your money and is not helping, we will intervene.
We're going to stand up for them and protect them. We know that there's a great deal of desperation and fear.
The panel may not resolve all their immigration challenges, but it's going a long way in calming these residents' fears. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
California legislators have helped champion several bills to help immigrants, including one that prevents immigration enforcement and another that provides detained immigrants with legal aid. While you work hard for long hours, yet can't make rent. It's the plight of many Angelenos. That's why the city is on a mission to build more affordable housing. As Gil Reyes reports, it's a bonus if the city can preserve LA history, too.
One of LA's oldest surviving neon signs is back, sitting atop a newly built affordable housing complex in the Westlake district. Struggling actor Peter John Minto feels like he's hit the jackpot being chosen as a tenant.
I needed something an apartment that wouldn't charge me so much so I can put more money into doing the act, taking headshots, going to auditions, taking a few classes here and there.
The complex, known as Paseo at Californian, allows tenants to pay below market rate. Minto pays $950 a month for one bedroom, when similar units in the area go for twice as much. The sign, built in 1925, was part of the original hotel that stood here on 6th and Bonnie Bray before fire destroyed it. Much like the refurbished sign, Area Councilman Gil Cedillo wants to restore much of the Westlake area with much-needed housing for the working poor.
That's our vision for this district, is that we will build quality, substantive, elegant housing. We'll do it using the best of smart growth tactics.
And housing advocates here in the Westlake district excited over yet another affordable housing complex to be built in the area. This one to be built on Alvarado and Wilshire atop a metro stop. 70 units expected there, and officials hope to break ground by the end of next year. In the Westlake district, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
The Westlake district includes LA's historic MacArthur Park and surrounding areas. And while many people struggle with finding affordable housing, others may go days, weeks, or even longer without the most basic necessity, a shower. But as Rasha Goel reports, a gift from the community is helping to change that.
This mobile shower unit is the latest addition to the San Fernando Valley Rescue Mission. It's a fully equipped shower that was made possible through local donations.
We set out as a goal to raise $17,000 and far exceeded our expectations and raised $25,000.
The unit is part of a program at the San Fernando Valley Rescue Mission, which provides access to hygiene services and so much more.
This shower unit is more than hot water and soap and clean towels. This shower unit is hope on wheels. It's a labor of love, and God knows that people who lack basic needs need hope more than anyone else in our city.
For Vincent Frazier, who lived on the streets for a year, having access to a unit like this has helped in turning his life around.
It's a big step for a lot of people that can't provide for themselves.
This mobile unit will be transported from Tujunga to Chatsworth and will help serve nearly 7,500 homeless individuals in the valley. This mobile shower is one of 2 units that's currently being used in the San Fernando Valley.
We're able to serve 4,000 homeless people to have them take showers, and that's about 25% of the homeless population here in the San Fernando Valley. With the second unit, we can double that.
The unit also provides hot, nutritious food, clothing, and hygiene items for distribution. In the San Fernando Valley, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
The San Fernando Valley Rescue Mission always welcomes donations of any amount. For more information, visit erescuemission.com. Well, when kids can't go to the hospital comes to them. Cedars-Sinai Medical Center unveils a pair of spankin' new RVs for neighborhood house calls. Gil Reyes explains.
The idea was to bring healthcare services to needy children who had difficulty getting to traditional hospitals or clinics. We would take the Cedars-Sinai staff and these mobile vehicles and provide healthcare in their own communities where children live, work, and play.
Health services on the go are receiving a long-awaited jumpstart. Now hitting the streets are a pair of all-new mobile units to serve Cedars-Sinai Medical Center's Coach for Kids program.
We were having breakdowns and things not working and problems, and we've been designing this and building this and waiting for this, and to have 2 brand new mobiles is wonderful.
Since 1994, Coach for Kids and their moving hospitals have offered free physical exams, immunizations, dental, hearing, and vision screenings to kids in underserved areas. 4 days a week, they're on the road, visiting schools, public housing facilities, and shelters. These new RVs are roomier than the originals, equipped with over 100 prescription and over-the-counter medications.
Everything you would need to treat, from head lice to eczema to allergies to asthma.
Each RV will also have a social worker on board to hook up kids with social services if needed.
So families might need some assistance with housing, or they might have issues where there's a need for more food for the family, or they might be going through some sort of issue in their family like domestic violence.
The drive's great though. I love the drive. It's way better. You don't feel the bumps or anything. But like say, everything is updated.
And to find out where these Coach for Kids mobile units are headed next, or to actually request services in your area, call the number at the bottom of your screen, 1-888-9-COACH-9. That's 1-888-9-COACH 9. At Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Coach for Kids has traditionally served communities like Skid Row, Pico Union, and South LA. While over in Boyle Heights, Phase 1 of the East Side Access Project has brought in a whopping $12 million in upgrades to neighborhood streets. But this total rehab isn't done yet. City leaders are now on to Part 2. Anna Marcos reports.
A new look for the Boyle Heights First Street corridor is being born, and this is city leaders kicking off Phase 2 of the East Side Access Project.
Phase 1 was actually a huge success. When we first started that project, it was a street that was dilapidated, broken sidewalks, not much pedestrian activity. But now with as you see First Street all the way down, there's lots more pedestrian activity. Businesses are now taking care of themselves, and you just see a renewed neighborhood down that corridor.
Phase 2 of the project will improve streets that connect to the Metro Gold Line. In the works are 200 new trees, new crosswalks, bus stops, curb ramps, and street lighting, and the repair of the area's sidewalks.
The community was involved, as the councilman mentioned, in the street lighting design, in choosing the design for bus benches. And when the community is involved in that selection process, not only do we get a better end product, but the community obviously is more happy with it.
Boyle Heights is one of the city's oldest neighborhoods. Some say it was LA's first suburb. Over time, its public areas fell into neglect and disrepair. But over the last 8 years, city leaders have pumped more than $3 billion into improvements.
Sometimes you walk down the street and you wonder to yourself, why don't we have those basic essentials that any other neighborhood would have?
The councilman wants more. And I hear him, and I want to give him more for Boyle Heights, right?
And now he's got it. Boyle Heights' bigger, better, more pedestrian-friendly corridor should be completed by the summer of 2018. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Phase 2 of the project will be completed through a state active transportation funding grant. Well, turning now to honoring those men and women who gave the ultimate sacrifice for our country. Gil Reyes takes us to a Memorial Day parade that's both solemn and celebratory.
It's a tradition for families in the San Fernando Valley. Thousands lining the sidewalks along Sherman Way in Canoga Park to see the 28th annual Memorial Day Parade up close.
It's a lot of fun. We all get together. My husband bought one of those obnoxious big horns.
The event, organized by the Canoga Park West Hills Chamber of Commerce, is billed as the biggest Memorial Day parade in the entire state. There are marching bands, classic cars, and dancing horses to impress the crowd. But Memorial Day really is about remembering those who died for our country. This placard bears the names of Canoga Park High School graduates killed in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam.
Today, if we can celebrate those lives and bring a community together in love and understanding, what better way than today? That's what Memorial Day is.
Memorial Day also celebrates the unofficial start of summer. Canoga Park's council member Bob Blumenfield stops by.
I love doing this parade. I've done it every year since I've been elected, both in the council and the assembly, and it brings out families and communities who want to show their patriotism, who want to show their respect.
We've been coming out here for many years and seeing the parade, and it's a great day, great way that the community celebrates. I'd like to see more people come out from next year's parade. You can't beat it. It's a nice family atmosphere.
Have a great summer, everyone. At Canoga Park's Memorial Day Parade, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Some 30,000 people show up every year. Memorial Day also marks the start of hot weather, summer vacations, and in LA, river kayak rides. The city has opened 2 river recreation zones along the LA River for the summer season. Anna Marcos shows us what it means for us. Anna.
Yana, the LA River is getting closer and closer to becoming a true recreation destination. And this place here, the Glendale Narrows, is one of the places where Angelinos will be able to splash around all summer long. Get out your kayaks, boats, and inflatable dinghies. The city has opened up 2 river recreation zones for the summer. The LA River's Glendale Narrows in Elysian Valley and the Sepulveda Basin are both ready for business. Anyone with something floatable can get on the river for a little water recreation, and it's free.
The overall goal here is to bring the river back to life and bring more people to the river.
The Mountain Recreation and Conservation Authority manages the river, and for the last few years it has been opening it up to the public during summer months. Of course, even fun has its dangers, so there are some rules.
Once you're actually kayaking out here, it is better for you to just have your vest on at all times, just in the event you do happen to tip over.
You will inevitably capsize, and I have. So it's a lot of fun.
And aside from the splashy fun, there is also the peaceful calm of taking some time out in nature.
So if you come here in a quiet moment, you'll see a blue heron sitting on a rock fishing. You'll see egrets and other waterfowl. The river is quite the habitat.
And because it is a precious habitat, summer fun is strictly limited to certain areas and times of the year. But here's your chance to row merrily down the stream while you can. You have until Labor Day to enjoy LA's summer river fun. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
And by the way, if you don't have your own boat, raft, or kayak, you can pay to go on a kayak ride with several operations, including LA River Kayak Safari. For more information, visit lariverkayaksafari.org. Well, they're just kids, but this year's participants in the California Science Fair include the maker of a motorized skateboard and a group of girls who may have found a new way to clean up environmental messes. Gil Reyes reports.
Did high school students discover a way to reduce the damage from massive oil spills, like the 1989 Exxon Valdez disaster off Alaska? Scientists had already known that a fern called Salvinia minima absorbs oil. But now these science students say absorption is greater when the fern is mixed with blue-green algae.
It could make it absorb crude oil better, and that's what we actually proved, and that's what we hope to do maybe further research on.
Basically, if any oil spills do happen in the future, I believe that our project could help the companies that these oil spills happen too.
The science project Discovery earned students from Lindbergh High School in San Jose entry into the California Science Fair. The competition at LA's California Science Center drew 930 kids from 400 schools statewide. Students like Geneva Travado, only in middle school, she created a robot that picks oranges from trees. It still needs work though.
Hopefully I'll have a actually good work robot that I can set loose in an orchard and it just picks all the fruit that it needs to.
Preston Reynolds from Sierra Madre Middle School designed a motorized skateboard specifically for students. The skateboard emits far fewer carbon emissions than arriving to class by car.
I don't ride it right now to school, but I'm planning next year when I go to high school. That I'm going to ride it every day.
Most of these kids can't even drive yet, but have worked on projects that might one day reverse the ecological damage caused by cars and other polluters. At the State Science Fair at the California Science Center, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
For a complete list of this year's winners, log on to cssf.usc.edu. While the mayor signs off on the city's new budget, a newly replaced plaque honors a famous golfer while inspiring others, and an Echo Park festival brings LA's diverse communities together. All these stories in Citybeat. Mayor Eric Garcetti signed the city's 2017-2018 budget, a spending plan that prioritizes fiscal responsibility, yet makes investments in LA's future. The budget funds work to fight homelessness, fix streets and sidewalks, and expands the mayor's Vision Zero initiative to make LA's roads safer for all Angelenos. The $9.2 billion budget allocates more than $180 million toward housing, cleanup and services to help homeless Angelenos, and more than $67 million in new spending to fix some of the city's most broken streets and improve transportation. The budget allocates $27 million for traffic safety.
It's also a plan for action. It is where we will spend money to make improvements in people's lives, whether they're living on the streets of Los Angeles or where they've been waiting for a straighter sidewalk to be able to get out of their homes.
The City of Los Angeles Department of Recreation and Parks, along with Councilmember Paul Koretz and other community groups, recently rededicated the newly replaced Arnold Palmer plaque at Rancho Park Golf Course. In 1961, during the 35th annual Los Angeles Open tournament, golf professional Arnold Palmer came to the 9th hole and totaled 4 shots that went out of bounds and 4 penalty strokes that left him with a total score of 12 on the hole. He famously became known for this performance at Rancho Park, and a plaque was installed on the 18th tee. The plaque commemorates the occasion of Palmer's total score of 12 on the hole and is meant as an inspiration for all golfers to continue to persevere. Echo Park Lake and the LA Department of Rec and Parks hosted Fiesta Perpetua, a full day of public performances, music, and art installations. The project was brought to life by artist Carmina Escobar and more than 80 creative collaborators. Escobar's concept for the performance is her reimagining of a day-long community ritual, drawing particularly from the customs of her own Mexican heritage, but updated and blended with elements of other traditional global celebrations.
Different languages, different foods, different music, different people, different traditions. There's a lot of different things, so I feel like this is another way to educate our community.
It's an opportunity to experience different tastes of the world while supporting a good cause. Rasha Goel reports on how one restaurant's dinner menu is serving more than just tasty meals.
Welcome to Momed, a quaint restaurant in Atwater Village specializing in Mediterranean food. While this place is known for the savory dishes, a special menu has been attracting diners from all across Los Angeles, even all the way down from Long Beach.
In my core, I'm a foodie, but I tend to be more on the vegetarian side, so I'm excited to try out everything that's veggie from all over the countries that he's featuring tonight.
Owner Alex Sarkissian created a special immigrant menu, which was offered every Wednesday in the month of May. As part of the LA Times Food Bowl event, Sarkissian wanted to promote the understanding and acceptance of different cultures and shine a light on the refugee and immigrant crisis affecting the world today.
Los Angeles is the city of immigrants, and it connects in multi-levels. Our clients are immigrants, I am an immigrant, and majority of people that work in hospitality are immigrants. So it's an environment that really represents all aspects of the immigrant life in LA, represented in a restaurant.
So Momed is known for modern Mediterranean food, but the Immigrant Dinner menu contains traditional dishes from 9 different countries. And I'm excited to try this eggplant one. So good. The eggplant dish I had was from Iran, but the menu featured dishes from Turkey, Afghanistan, Israel, Syria, Egypt, Armenia, and Lebanon. But it goes beyond the menu.
You would think that we should be able to be generous and take in more refugees because it's in our DNA. This country was built by immigrants. Depending on how you define immigrants, certain times those immigrants were really refugees.
50% of all proceeds were donated to the International Rescue Committee, an organization that works to help refugees from all over the world. And it's something guests were excited to support.
I just was interested in the cuisine, and I love that, part of the proceeds from the Immigrant Dinner would go to refugees, and I just thought that was wonderful. Any way that I could help, and the food was delicious.
I think if we can help them in any shape or form, then we owe it to them to do it. So it's a good cause, and it's a fun time.
A beautiful way of connecting people and humanity together through cuisine. From Atwater Village, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
The special menu was only for the month of May, but the owner says he plans to create similar promotions in the near future. Well, if you love classic films, here's your chance to watch them again, but this time at an iconic downtown theater. Take in spectacular views of the city while doing some wine tasting, and enjoy classic theater performances under the summer stars. All this in this week's Things to Do. This year marks the LA Conservancy's 31st season of classic films in historic theaters. To commemorate the occasion, the organization is going back to where it all began, Broadway's iconic movie palaces. With 9 screenings and lots of interesting events to go with them, including special backstage tours, panel discussions, and post-show film trivia, it's the place to be for the classic film buff. This year's lineup includes vintage crowd pleasers like On the Waterfront, E.T., and Jaws. For times and theater locations, visit laconservancy.org. With stunning views overlooking the city, Barnsdall Park welcomes Angelinos 21 years and older to sip wine, picnic, and watch the sunset for another not-to-be-missed season of wine tasting at the iconic cultural destination. Marking its 9th season and attracting sellout crowds, the renowned Barnsdall Friday Night Wine Tastings, the foundation's signature fundraising event, returns to the Hill. There will be a number of rotating food trucks on hand, as well as micro pop-ups by Jenny's Splendid Ice Cream and the Cheese Store of Silver Lake. For more, visit barnsdall.org. Theatricum Botanicum kicks off its summer season at its spectacular outdoor venue with William Shakespeare's The Merchant of Venice. Unlike most theaters in the LA area that stage continuous runs of a single play, Theatricum will perform each of the plays in a repertory through October 1st using a single company of actors, making it possible to see all 5 plays in a single summer weekend. You're welcome to arrive early and picnic before any performance. It all takes place June 3rd to October 1st at 1419 North Topanga Canyon Boulevard. And that's a look at some things to do. Well, that's going to do it for this edition. I'm Yana Kane from all of us here at LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.